Thanks be to God who had given us the power, the glory of His Majesty, the Holy Ghost, who gave me authority to speak at this time. And I pray that my words be not my words, but be God's words as we speak. So as we continue on the this whole episode about the family, let's talk about our teenagers, because for some reason when our children reach teenage age, it's like they enter into a different world. And in the video before this was when I started going deep. We started taking it off the surface and we started talking about demonic forces, because we want everyone to understand that the natural world that we live in is governed by a world that you cannot see with your natural eyes. It's a spiritual, supernatural world. That is a fact. Everything that happens down here is decided in a spiritual world. As I said before, that which is seen, the Bible tells you that that which is not seen is greater than that which is seen. So the natural world is not as powerful as the supernatural world. And the supernatural world is more real than the natural world. You see, in the natural world, people can be fake and hypocrites and pretending to be something that they are not, and not really giving their honest opinion on matters and things. But within the supernatural world, only the truth that matters, and the truth will happen. So whatever you do is going to have an effect, and you can't say it's not you who did it, it's somebody else. Your action is going to have an effect and it's going to be imputed. So that's the real. So we're going to talk about our teenagers, our teenage children for a bit. And I don't know what I should talk about first, whether I should talk about how you enforce your rules, because I did talk about that already in another video. So, let me just go back over that. Whatever you're teaching your children, your teenage children, you have to be consistent with it, even when they're not following what you're saying, even when they're not following your message, but you have to stay on message. Continue to stay on message. It doesn't matter how long they take to get it. It's gonna come a time when they will automatically submit to whatever those teachings are. One thing and two things I want to say to you. I want to explain a couple of laws, not explain exactly how they work, but that they do exist. The first law I want you to understand is that the child is going to do what the parents do. Whatever you do, your child is going to do it. If the child is being raised in the home with you, they're gonna end up doing what you do, not necessarily what you say. Because a lot of people teach one thing, but they practice something else. The child is gonna do what you do. That is a natural law. You can't get away from that. The second thing to learn, the second law to learn, is that the father, the head of the household, which is more than likely the father, the head of the house, their will is going to be carried out in the family. So don't worry about people resisting your will and then not doing what you're saying, because that will is going to be carried out in the family eventually. So it doesn't matter what that will is, as long as you our partnership with God over your family, which is how it's supposed to be, and you're living this type of life, and this is what you're living, and this is what your will is. You wish for your children to come under that rule and to come to that acknowledgement, but they're out there doing their own thing. Once you continue to live that righteous life, to live that godly life, by law, by divine law, that is a law that is eventually going to govern your children. So they might resist for a while, but it's not something that you should worry about too much. You should enforce it nevertheless, and you have to continue to enforce it with the same amount of zeal, with the same amount of venom that you would and insist on your beliefs, but not to worry about the fact that they don't come to it, because eventually they will. If you're not consistent, if you give up on what you believe and start to succumb to what the child wants, then your law and your rule, your right to govern your family with the right thing, that's going to be rescinded, and that is going to fail. There is such a thing, and there is a tendency, a trend, where we start talking to our children about the right things, but they continue to do the wrong. And the child's wish, our children's wish, is that we come to terms and understand where they're coming from. But the fact that we are older and we know where they're coming from, and we know that the direction that they are going in is wrong, we tend to want to succumb as parents, even though that we know we're right, just to gain back that love of our children, because we find out that we're losing the love. Never do that. Never compromise what your beliefs are. Never compromise your right belief. If the child want to pack their stuff and go out the house, let them go out the house. But the last thing you ever want to do is to compromise, because what you have working there, even though you can't see it, is a demonic spirit that is trying to take over your home. They're trying to surrender you, to get you to be initiated under that demonic kingdom, so that demon can come in and control your house. The child is gonna leave the house. They're gonna go out there, and with that demonic spirit, and do as they like. And now that they're not under your roof, they can do pretty much what they want. They're gonna go out and be led by that demonic spirit and pick up other demonic forces out there. You're gonna receive phone calls, from that child, and with your child leaving out of the house, you're gonna miss them so much, and you're gonna be wondering that conscience is gonna be pricking you. I wonder if it was something I could have done better. I wonder if I could do things the right way. I wonder if I was wrong, even though you know that what you believe is the right thing. And you might be tempted to succumb to that and to say, okay, you know what, I was wrong. Come back in the house and allow the child to come back into your house with that system of belief. That is not a temptation that you should yield to. That is the worst mistake that you could ever make. That is the worst temptation that you could ever fall to. Keep on standing up for what you believe, because that phone call is going to pass on that particular day, and that moment is going to pass. And there is going to come a time when that child is going to finally realize that what you've been saying to them all along is right. It's actually the right thing. And they're going to come back to your home under your terms. When you're dealing with teenagers, like I said, they live in a world where they think that their world is the real world. And there's a lot of demonic forces that is out there controlling your children or controlling other people's children, and they go and they run into that bad influence and they try to bring that back into your house. Don't ever allow that. Don't ever surrender your belief to any forces or to anything that you know is not right. Don't ever surrender your belief to that. So if your child comes in and tell you that, okay, I'm gay, I'm just coming out of the closet and tell you I'm gay. You can't hate your child because they're gay, because it's your child. The Bible said a parent's love is not going to cease towards your children. But at the same time, you have to understand that this is a spirit, and it is not acceptable in the sight of God. It is not acceptable. So you have to take a stand and tell your child where you stand on this, and it's better not be something that you accept. You better not come to some kind of conclusion that, oh, I'll accept you for whatever you are, and it make no difference, what sexual life you choose, what sexual decision you make, because it's your life, and all of that stuff that's common out there. You better not do that, because that again is one of the worst mistakes you would make. So you can continue to love your child, because you're going to love your child unconditionally, but you have to stand up for the right thing. And being gay is not okay. It's a demonic force that is trying to take over your life, and you do not need to bring that demon inside your house, because that is a spirit of darkness, and you don't want that to govern over your house. Don't say that you wasn't told, because these things are going to come. These things are going to happen to your family. It's going to happen to every family, and I'm here to tell you how to deal with it, what you need to stand up for, what you need to stand on, and don't do anything different. Because if you do anything different, then you're going to end up regretting it. End up having you and yourself cast into hellfire for doing the wrong things, and have to answer a lot of questions to the God you serve, to the God who created you and the purpose that He created you for and your family. Be careful what you do. We are in perilous times. Being gay is not okay. You have to take a stance about your family, because these are times that the enemy, that the forces of darkness is trying to get into every home and to take over your home and to lead your family down the wrong path. You do not want to deal with those curses, because it makes your heart really, really sad, and it brings in a lot of sorrow into your family, more than that which you can be able to deal with. This is not the will of God. Find out what God's will is for your family and apply by that. Apply those rules to your family. Lay down those rules in your family and stand by it, because such is the will of God. Thank you.